Jai Shri Shri Guru Gaurango Gandharvika Giridhari Jiv ki Jai. Jai Shri Shri Guru Gaurango Shri Radha Madan Mohan Panchatatatmak Shri Gaura Hari ki Jai. Jai Shri Shri Guru Gaurango Shri Radha Nayananath Jiv ki Jai. Jai Shri Gaura Nityananda Prabhu ki Jai. Jai Shri Jagannath Dev ki Jai. Jai Nittarila Parishtom Vishnupat Paramahansa Statarasa Chishila Bhakti Vallabh Tirtha Gosai Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Nittarila Parishtom Vishnupat Paramahansa Statarasa Chishila Bhakti Daita Madhav Gosai Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Nittarila Parishtom Vishnupat Paramahansa Statarasa Chishila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosai Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai Paramahansa Shila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Shishila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki Jai. Jai Vaishnav Sarvam Shila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Shri Rupanuga Guru Varya ki Jai. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Jai Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopi Go Govardhan Vrindavan Shri Radha Kunda Sham Kundatmak Shri Brajamandir ki Jai. Jai Shri Navadip Dham ki Jai. Jai Shri Purushottam Dham ki Jai. Jai Shri Baladev Subhadra Jagannath Shri Sudarshan Chakra Jiv ki Jai. Jai Shri Brinda Devi Tulsi Devi ki Jai. Jai Sarva Vigna Vinashanakari Shri Nrishingadev ki Jai. Jai Shri Haribasar Titi Baraki Jai. Jai Shri Papmochani Ekadashi Titi Baraki Jai. Jai Shri Ekadashi Brata ki Jai. Jai Brata Palankari Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Jai Shila Ambarish Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Shri Shrivas Angane Shri Harinam Sankirtankari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki Jai. Jai Samagata Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai. Gaur Pramanande Hari Gaur. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Pada Kamala Shri Guru Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadaitam Sabadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lolita Shri Vishakhanvitanscha Shuddha Bhakata Charanarenu Bhajanayanukula Bhakata Seva Paramasidhi Premaloti Karamula Madhavatiti Bhakti Janani Jatane Palana Kori Krishna Vasati Vasati Boli Paramaya Dore Bori Gauraya Marje Savastane Koralo Brahmana Range Se Savastana Heri Boyami pranai bhakata songe mridanga baddha shunite mon avasara sadajache Gora bihita kirtana shuni anande hridayo nache Jugala murti dekhiyamor paramayananda hoy Prasada seva korite hoy Sakala prapancha joy Jedino grihe bhajana dekhi Grihete goloko bhai Charana sidhu dekhiya ganga Sukhana sima pai Tulasi dekhi joraya pran Madhavato shani jani Gaura priya shaka sevane Jivana sarthaka mani Bhakati vinoda Krishna bhajane Anukula paijaha Bhakati vinoda Krishna bhajane Anukula paijaha Prati divase paramasuke Sikara koroyetaha Shuddha bhakata charanarenu Bhajanayanukula Bhakata seva paramasidhi Premaloti karamula Jaya Madhava Titi Jaya Ekadashi Titi Jaya Madhava Titi Jaya Ekadashi Titi Jaya Madhava Titi Jaya Harivasar Titi Jaya Madhava Titi Jaya Harivasar Titi Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare Hare Hari Bol 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 today's most auspicious day, Ekadashi, named Papmochani Ekadashi. The name tells that if one will follow this Ekadashi, then all his sins will be removed. He will be rescued from all sinful reactions. But this is mentioned in Karma Kanda section for following Ekadashi. So devotees, they are not following for getting release from sinful reactions. Devotees, they are following to please Supreme Lord Shri Krishna. It is one of devotional practice for them. Mentioned in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, in Shastra everywhere. So, some devotees, our Gurudev also used to sometimes, not always, tell the story from that Ekadashi Mahatmya, but only to show that devotees are not following for that purpose, to give contrast, to explain. Devotees are following to please Supreme Lord, like Ambarish Maharaj did. We have example in Shastra. Also Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there in Chaitanya Bhagavat it is written, Shri Hari Basare Hari Kirtana Vidhan, Nritya Arambilo Prabhu Jagatero Pran, Punyavanta Shriva Sangane Shuvaramba, Utilo Kirtana Dvani Gopala Govinda, Hari O Ram Ram, Hari O Ram Ram. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gathered all his devotees from early morning, and in the house of Srivas Thakur, they started Kirtan from early morning. And Mahaprabhu was dancing, they're singing, also dancing, and congregational chanting of Gopal Govinda rose to the sky. And the whole day, whole night, they were doing Kirtan. But there it is mentioned, our Gurudev also told, they can do this because they have Satya Kalebor, means spiritual body. We don't have. So we cannot imitate them, but we have to do as much as possible on Ekadashi. We should increase our bhajan, because also more devotional benefit you will get, million times more if you do on Ekadashi. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also ordered to Sanatana Goswami to write Hari Bhakti Vilas, how devotees should practice. Then there he wrote that verse. It is quoted from some Purana maybe, that on Ekadashi day you have to give up all sinful activities and give up all kinds of enjoyments, and you have to do with all good qualities, you have to do upavas. One meaning of upavas is fasting from everything if possible, otherwise you can drink water, or otherwise milk, fruits, roots, like this, what is allowed. It is more important to do Shravan Kirtan with proper health than to be very weak physically and mentally disturbed and cannot do Shravan Kirtan Smaran. That is not recommended, especially in Kali Yuga, because life is in the food. So Shastra allows certain items to be accepted. They will not break the fast, and do Shravan Kirtan more, Smaran also. So how much individually one can do, like our Srila Bhakti Sharan Trivikram Goswami Maharaj. He is disciple of Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur. He used to do like Ambarish Maharaj. No eating, and whole night also he will chant Harinam. But we cannot do. So what will keep your body fit and mind okay, that you should do. If you can do, that is very good. Otherwise, better to take that Anukalpa Prasad and do Shravan Kirtan Smaran. Our Gurudev gave some examples. some devotee was trying to Nirjala fast, and they were traveling in train, but it was very difficult, but still he was wanting, but his mind became so disturbed that he could not do anything. So that is not the purpose. So upavas, this is one meaning. Another meaning is to reside near. Upa vas. Upa means near, vas means to reside. Where? Near Krishna. Krishna is in transcendental realm. I am on material platform. How I can serve him? By surrendering to Guru, by taking Diksha. Krishna will make your body transcendental. In that transcendental body you can serve. But that is very difficult to completely surrender to Krishna. So there is another way, more easy way. Kali kale nam rupe Krishna avatar. Nam hoite hoy sarva jagata nistar. Out of causeless mercy in this Kali Yuga, Krishna himself came down to this world, descended as his name. So by chanting his name, we are near him. Of course, with all good qualities means with devotion. Otherwise, you cannot have any contact with Krishna. Asadhu sange bhai nam kobu nai. Namakar, there Jagannatha Pandit told, in asat sangha, means anti-devotional association, whether external or internal, you cannot chant name. Only alphabet will come out. Sometimes nama bas maybe, but mostly nama parat. Not pure name. Pure name you can have only in sadhu sangha, in association with devotees or with devotion. When you are inclined to serve Krishna, then you can have chanting of real name. Otherwise not. It is not that just anyone will say Hare Krishna, that is automatically something very big. No. Depends what kind of chanting it is. That is why first you have to awaken Shraddha in them, then instruct them. Otherwise it can be Nama Parat also to instruct. So by chanting, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed, we can be near Krishna, then we will properly observe Ekadashi and our devotion will increase. Our realization of Supreme Lord will increase and our detachment to other things other than service of Krishna will decrease more on today's day. So we are hearing Srimad Bhagavatam by Shravan and Kirtan. Smaran will come automatic. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu prescribed hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam as a process to satisfy Krishna. But as I told, some things in Bhagavatam are descriptive, describing, and some are prescriptive, means instructing what you have to do now in this Kali Yuga. These are all perfect examples, perfect practices, everything. But we cannot do in Kali Yuga like they did in those. So we have to accept what Bhagavatam says is the process for Kali Yuga. Krishna Varnam Tvisha Krishnam Sango Panga Astra Parshadam Yagyai Sankirtana Prayer Yajanti Hi Sumeda Saha. Those who have proper intelligence, Sumeda, they will, in Kali Yuga, they will worship Supreme Lord, who is always speaking Krishna, 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 or describing Krishna, but he is not black Krishna, he is golden. And with Sankirtan Yagya, you have to worship him. That is intelligent. So we have to follow what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu prescribed for us. Chanting Mahamantra and other practices given by bona fide Guru appearing in Bonafide Preceptorial Channel from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That teaching, pure teaching of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that we have to follow, then we can get ultimate goal of life. So this we have to hear, and we heard this Puranjana story was given to Prachina Barhisat to instruct him, because Narad Goswami became compassionate to him. Then he told him the story, and now he is explaining what is the meaning of that story. So we heard Puranjana is Jiva, and his unknown friend Avigyata, that is Supreme Lord, Paramatma. When we go away from Supreme Lord and want to enjoy this Maya, then we get marriage with material intelligence, that is Puranjani. And then mind and senses and 9 gates in the body and all this. So we heard yesterday the 5, yes, this is original sin, this Papmochani Ekadashi. Original sin, Bhaktivinoda Thakur also quoted, yesterday I told, in that article, Pravriti or Nivriti article, in his magazine, he told that Puranjana is teaching us, Puranjana story is teaching us about this aversion to Krishna is the root cause of all problem. And he gave this example, Puranjana, and also from Christianity he also gave example. When Adam and Eve, they were in paradise. Then God told them, you do these things, but don't take that apple from the tree of knowledge. That is prohibited. But they did. Then they fell down from paradise. That is original sin, to disobey God. So like that we also have original sin, Krishna bhuli seiji ponadi bahirmukh. To forget Krishna, or to become averse to Krishna, or go away, Ishatapeta se turn away, that is original sin. And from this original sin all problem happens. We have to be rescued from this original sin. Papmochani. Original sin we can remove only by becoming inclined to Krishna. Then everything is proper. Yesterday we heard the 5 working senses and the 5 senses that acquire knowledge are all male friends of Puranjani. The living entity is assisted by these senses in acquiring knowledge and engaging in activity. The engagements of the senses are known as girl friends. And the serpent, which was described as having 5 heads, is the life air acting within the 5 circulatory processes. You will find in Upanishads very clearly explain this about prana, how it works in body. And without prana, no other sense can work. If prana is not working, then nothing can work. And when prana leaves the body, everything is finished. There was one like a test there in Upanishads. One sense went away and others could work. So it's not so important if one sense is missing. Like this they were testing. But when prana just little wanted to go, everyone was paralyzed. No one could do anything. Then they understood prana is superior to all senses. Brihad Bala Mano Vidyat Ubayendriya Nayakam Panchalach Pancha Vishaya Yan Madhya Navakam Puram. The 11th attendant, who is the commander of the others, is known as the mind. He is the leader of the senses, both in the acquisition of knowledge and in the performance of work. Someone is in class, then teacher asked him what I said. Then he said, I don't know. My mind was somewhere else. So if mind is not there, then no value of anything. Or if mind is not there, you cannot do anything. So he is the leader. The Panchala kingdom is the atmosphere in which the 5 sense objects are enjoyed. For eye, form. For nose, fragrance. For tongue, taste. They are objects of the senses. For ear, sound, and for skin, some object to touch. Within this Panchala kingdom is the city of the body, which has 9 gates. Akshini Nasike Karno Mukam Shishna Gudau Iti Dve Dvaro Bahiryati Ya Stat Indriya Samyutaha. The eyes, nostrils, and ears are pairs of gates situated in one place. The mouth, genital, and rectum are also different gates. Being placed into a body having these 9 gates, the living entity acts externally in the material world and enjoys sense objects like form and taste. Akshini Nasike Asyam Iti Panchapura Kritaha Dakshina Dakshina Karna Uttara Chotara Smritaha Paschime iti ado dvaro gudam shishnam ihochate. 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, and a mouth, altogether 5, are situated in the front. The right ear is accepted as the southern gate, and the left ear is the northern gate. The 2 holes or gates situated in the west are known as the rectum and genital. Kadyo tavirmukhi chatra netre ekatra nirmite rupam vibrajitam tabhyam vichaste chakshu sheshwaraha. The 2 gates named Kadyota and Avirmukhi, which have been spoken of, are the 2 eyes side by side in one place. The town named Vibrajita should be understood as form. In this way, the 2 eyes are always engaged in seeing different kinds of forms. Nalini Nalini Nase Gandha Saurabha Uchyate Grano Vaduto Mukyasyam Vipano Vakrasavit Rasaha. The 2 doors named Nalini and Nalini should be known as the 2 nostrils, and the city named Saurabha represents aroma. The companion Saurabh also in Bengali it means fragrance. The companion spoken of as Avaduta is the sense of smell. The door called Mukhya is the mouth, and Vipana is the faculty of speech. Rasagya is the sense of taste. Apano vyavaharotra chitram ando bahudanam pitrihur dakshinah karna utaro devahu smritaha. The city called Apana represents engagement of the tongue in speech, and Bahudana is the variety of foodstuffs. The right ear is called the gate Pitrihu, and the left ear is called the gate of Devahu. Pravritam cha nivritam cha shastram panchala sangitam pitriyanam devayanam shrotra chuta dharat brajit. Narada Muni continued, the city spoken of as Dakshina Panchala represents the scriptures meant for directing pravriti, the process of sense enjoyment and fruitive activities. The other city, named Uttara Panchala, represents the scriptures meant for decreasing fruitive activities and increasing knowledge. The living entity receives different kinds of knowledge by means of two ears. And some living entities are promoted to Pitriloka and some to Devaloka. All this is made possible by the two ears. By pravriti you will stay in this world. By nivriti you can go. That is, of course, this kind of pravriti. Shastras, pravriti and nivriti in karma kant. But for devotees, pravriti and nivriti in that context means either household, life as a devotee, or as a renunciate. Both are possible, and in both there is bhajan. But here this is something else. So some go, yes. There, some go there. Asuri Medram Arvak Dvar Vyavayo Graminam Rati Upasto Durmadah Prokto Niritir Guda Uchete. The city called Gramaka, which is approached through the lower gate of Asuri, means the genital, is meant for sex, which is very pleasing to common men who are simply fools and rascals. The faculty of procreation is called Durmada, and the rectum is called Nirriti. He's explaining Sahajiya something. Vaishya sam narakam payur lubdako undho tu meshrinu hasta pado pumam stabhyam yukto yati karoti cha. When it is said that Puranjana goes to Vaishasa, it is meant that he goes to hell. He is accompanied by Lubdaka, which is the working sense in the rectum. Formerly, I have also spoken of two blind associates. These associates should be understood to be the hands and legs. Being helped by the hands and legs, the living entity performs all kinds of work and moves hither and thither. They are blind. They cannot see, but they are directed by a living entity. They are assisting. They are like workers. Antah puram cha hridayam vishuchirmana uchate tatra moham prasadam va harsham prapnoti tad gunai. The word antahpura refers to the heart. The word vishuchina, meaning going everywhere, indicates the mind. Within the mind, the living entity enjoys the effects of the modes of material nature. These effects sometimes cause illusion, sometimes satisfaction, and sometimes jubilation or suffering also you can get from mind. In dream also, sometimes you get dreams, you get suffering, and then when you wake up, you are happy that you woke up. But that time in dream you are suffering. Yata yata vikriyate gunakto vikarotiva tatha tato padrashtatma tadvritir anukaryate. Formerly it was explained that the queen is one's intelligence, material intelligence. While one is awake or asleep, that intelligence creates different situations. Being influenced by contaminated intelligence, the living entity envisions something and simply imitates the actions and reactions of his intelligence. Since the intelligence is contaminated, the living entity is also contaminated. In the conditioned state, the living entity acts according to his contaminated intelligence for material enjoyment. Although he simply remains an observer, he nonetheless acts, being forced by a contaminated intelligence, which in reality is a passive agent. Intelligence is dead matter, but Atma gives life. But that Atma, which is averse to Krishna, becoming attached to intelligence and gives power, then becomes a slave of that intelligence, like he became attached to his wife. Dehoratas tvindriyashvaha samvatsara rayo gati dvikarma chakras triguna dvajah panchasu banduraha manorashmir buddhi suto hrin nido dvandva kubaraha panchendriyartha prakshepaha sapta dhatu viru takaha akutir vikramo bahyo mriga trishnam pradhavati ekadashendriya chamu panchasuna vinoda krit. Narad Muni continued, what I refer to as the chariot was in actuality the body. The senses are the horses that pull that chariot. As time passes, year after year, these horses run without obstruction, but in fact they make no progress. Pious and impious activities are the two wheels of the chariot. The three modes of material nature are the chariot's flags. The 5 types of life air constitute the living entity's bondage, and the mind is considered to be the rope. Intelligence is the chariot driver. The heart is the sitting place in the chariot, and the dualities of life, such as pleasure and pain, are the knotting place. The 7 elements are the coverings of the chariot, and the working senses are the 5 external processes. The 11 senses are the soldiers, means 5 knowledge acquiring, 5 working, and the mind. Being engrossed in sense enjoyment, the living entity seated on the chariot hankers after fulfillment of his false desires and runs after sense enjoyment life after life. That is inevitable. Immediately, our Gurudev explained, the Sarup Brahm, misconception of self, is due to ignorance. Ignorance is due to being averse to knowledge. Supreme North is all existence, all knowledge, all bliss, Satchidananda Vigraha. immediately when we become turned away from him, we see shadow. We are in illusion. We get misconception of self. By contacting this material intelligence, then everything follows. Then it is inevitable when you are misidentifying with matter that you will have material desires. Inevitable. And there are varieties are mentioned in scripture. It is not that it is like random. No. There are some general desires, like according to what kind of body animal has, and also it is in humans, like what females generally they desire, what male. All this already programmed before. It is not that you are like freely, very freely choosing, just fully free. No. That is already programmed by creation. And then we enter into that, and then we think this is mine. But it is not yours of the soul. It is due to this you enter into such body, then that program is there and you will desire those things. And we then want to fulfill those desires. The the original sin is this. We became averse to Krishna, then all this problem starts, like Adam and Eve and Puranjana, and Krishna will say Jipanadir Bahirmukh. This we have to correct by the grace of Paramatma, Shastra, and Mahanta Guru. Chaitya Guru and Mahanta Guru, outside Guru, they are same. But he manifests because we are unable to hear properly from Chaitya Guru. But if you are on liberated platform, then from Chaitya Guru also you can hear all instructions. Samvatsara Chanda Vegaha Kalo Yeno Palakshitaha Tasya Haniha Gandharva Gandharvyo Ratraya Smritaha Harantyayuh Pari Krantya Shashtyutara Shatatrayam. What was previously explained as Chanda Vega, or powerful time, is covered by days and nights, named Gandharvas and Gandharvis. The body's lifespan is gradually reduced by the passage of days and nights, which number 360. Kala Kanya, so they are attacking Gandharva and Gandharvis. They are attacking, means reducing lifespan, day and night. We say, I am now 24 years old. But we also, you can tell in another way that you are now 24 years dead, more close to death. Or if you know how much is your life according to fixed time, then you can understand how much you are dead already. Not life, but death. That is, of course, body. Atma has no birth and no death. Kala Kanya Jara. Kala Kanya Jara Shakshal Lokastam Nabi Nandati Swasaram Jagrihe Mrityu Kshayaya Yavaneshwaraha. What was described as Kala Kanya, that is daughter of time, should be understood as old age. No one wants to accept old age. But Yavaneshwar means king of Yavanas or Yavana Raja, who is death, servant of Jamara, accepts Jara or old age as his sister. This Kalakanya wanted to marry Narad, but Narad refused her. So then she found Javana Raja and accepted as brother and sister. First old age comes and then death also comes. Old age is very bad. All the time problem, this sickness, that sickness, senses stop, means function is reduced. You cannot hear, you cannot see, you cannot move. Then mind also becomes not as it was before, not working properly. That is old age. That is very bad. And then after old age comes death. That is why we have to get that permanent remembrance of Supreme Lord by practicing in young age, so that you come to transcendental platform. Then in old age, when your body is invalid, then you have no any problem. Whatever happenings with body or mind, it doesn't concern you. You will not be disturbed. You will be in your transcendental meditation all the time, and there is no problem. Like our Vaishnavas, they also play such pastimes. Outwardly, like old age and all kind of sickness problem, this mind also not working, but inside, in their soul, they're always happy, and they can make others happy also. In that state, because of always remembering Krishna and always there in that transcendental platform, not feeling any pain and problem of this. But otherwise, if you are not in that transcendental consciousness, then this old age is very bad. Too much suffering. Adayo vyadhaya stasya sainika yavanascharaha bhuto pasargashuraya prajvaro dvivido jvaraha evam bahuvidair dukhair deva bhutatma sambhavai klishamana shatam varsham dehe dehi tamovritaha pranendriya manodharman atmani adyasya nirgunaha shete kamalavan dhyayan mamaham iti karma krit. The followers of Yavaneshwar, that is, here it is directly, Yamaraj, not servant of Yamaraj, he is directly Yamaraj, that king of Yavanas, brother of daughter of time, who is old age. So the followers of Yavaneshwara or Yamaraj are called the soldiers of death, and they are known as the various types of disturbances that pertain to the body and mind. Prajvara represents the two types of fever, extreme heat and extreme cold, typhoid and pneumonia. The English, they don't pronounce P, they only say pneumonia. Typhoid, that is that Shchitnica in Slovenian language, typhoid, and pneumonia. The living entity lying down within the body is disturbed by many tribulations pertaining to providence, to other living entities, and to his own body and mind. Yes. Deva Bhutatma, yes, Bhuta Atma, Sambhaveh. That you remember, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied to Sanatana Goswami. Sanatana Goswami said, why I'm getting threefold miseries? Means Adhyatmika from your own body and mind, Adibhautika coming from other living entities. Nowadays humans are the greatest danger to their own species, as you can see, and Adidevika from demigods, these natural catastrophes. So here in Bhagavatam, this is everything Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teaching is coming from Bhagavatam. So all the time these problems there. Despite all kinds of tribulations, the living entity, subjected to the necessities of the body, mind and senses, and suffering from various types of disease, is carried away by many plans due to his lust to enjoy the world. In old age, that desire is there, but body and mind is not functioning. Like child, that is why they say, old people, they are like children. Their mind is not working properly, and their functions of the body also not working properly. Like child, he does not know when he will pass urine, stool, what he has to eat, and he's not no knowledge like this. Old man also, because it is written in Upanishad, when Jiva enters into body, first subtle body, then grows, then it is explained how gradually those functions of the senses and mind, they will come to proper functioning. Gradually it is happening. And also it is described what happens at the time of death. They gradually also come back, and then prana, and then you go out. You cannot speak, you cannot think, you cannot do anything. That is gradually going in. You cannot eat, no control over nothing. So is carried away by many plans due to his lust to enjoy the world. Although transcendental to this material existence, the living entity, out of ignorance, accepts all these material miseries under the pretext of false egoism, I and mine. In this way he lives for 100 years within this body. That is, of course, in general, although now it is already reduced so much, and it will be more. In Kali Yuga, average life is reducing. It will come up to 50 maximum. That will be like nowadays 100, 50, that time will be, rarely someone will go up to 50. Because so much degradation is happening, pollution and bad habits and everything. So also life is reducing in Kali Yuga. So though Jiva does not suffer anything, as I told, when you are dreaming, you are suffering so much. But in reality, nothing is happening to your body in wakeful state. Like in dream, someone is cutting your hand, but it is not happening to your real hand. Like that, there is no harm to Jiva at any time. Jiva is without birth, without death. No one can cut, no one can, because that is beyond material energy totally. And no old age is for the Jiva, no food requirement, nothing. That is totally separate category. But when soul is absorbed in matter, then it is like a dream. Then all this suffering is there. So as long as you have eye and mind pertaining to this world, you will have to suffer. But when you cut this eye and mind by self-realization, who you are, to whom you are belonging, to Krishna, then Bhaktivinoda Thakur told, Jib Krishna Das e Bishwash korle to ar dukho nai. When you are established in this by realization that you are eternal servant of Krishna, there is no more any kind of misery for you. Nothing. Even staying in this world, in this body, but there is no misery. Only constant that bliss, full bliss. And this is what all living entities' goal is. This is what we all want, Satchidananda. So we cannot be satisfied in any other way other than getting this. And there is only one way, by surrendering to Krishna and serving Him, then you can get what you are searching for. Yadatmanam avigyaya bhagavantam param gurum purushastu vishajeta guneshu prakriteh svadrik guna bimanid satada karmani kurute vashaha shuklam krishnam lohitam va yatha karma bijayate. The living entity by nature has minute independence to choose his own good or bad fortune. But when he forgets his Supreme Master, the Personality of Godhead, he gives himself up unto the modes of material nature. See, throughout whole Bhagavatam, one and the same teaching is all the time giving, in different ways, but all the time same. What Vyasadeva saw in his Samadhi, transcendental realization, the Jiva is transcendental, but being averse to Krishna is enveloped by Maya, suffering. If she turns to Krishna, then everything is solved. Here also, Yadatmanam avigyaya bhagavantam param gurum. When Atma avigyaya means forgets Bhagavan, who is Param Guru, means Supreme Guru, then this thing happens. The living entity by nature has minute independence to choose his own good or bad fortune. But when he forgets his Supreme Master, the Personality of Godhead, who gives himself up unto, he gives himself up unto the modes of material nature. Also Kapil Bhagavan told to Mother Devahuti, mind is the cause of bondage, means consciousness is the cause of bondage, mind is the cause of emancipation. When you are attached to Supreme Lord, then you are liberated. When you are attached to Triguna, you are bound. Here the same teaching is there. When you forget Supreme Lord, means turn away, then you are in Trigunas. Being influenced by the modes of material nature, he identifies himself with the body, and for the interest of the body becomes attached to various activities. For the interest of the body becomes attached to various activities. Sometimes he is under the influence of the mode of ignorance, sometimes the mode of passion, and sometimes the mode of goodness. The living entity thus gets different types of bodies under the modes of material nature. If you are in goodness, then you are Devata. If you are in Raja, you are human. If Atamo, then animal. That is why our Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur, he told, if all the scriptures in the world may be lost, but if Bhagavatam remains, there is no problem for the jivas. But even if Bhagavatam is lost, then there is no problem if Chaitanya Charitamrita is there. And he told to his disciples, Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, when some of his disciples, they, without taking his permission, they wanted to do bhajan in Radha Kunda, in secluded place, without taking permission of Guru. That is wrong. He wrote that song Vaishnav Ke. You have to deeply think what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told to Sanatana Goswami. In Bhagavatam you have 12 cantos, so many stories, so many circumstances, so many pastimes, all this, but teaching is the same all the time. About surrender to Krishna, about pure devotion, and the problem is aversion. Full Bhagavatam is only about this. And in Sanatana Shiksha very clearly, Supreme Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he told that you are suffering Sanatana because when Jiva is averse to Krishna, Krishna Buli say Jiponadi Bhagavat, Otaip Maya Tarade Sangsharadiduk. Because of that, Maya gives you all suffering. Sadhu Shastra Kripa Jodi Krishna Unmukha, if by the grace of Shastra and Sadhu you become inclined to the service of Krishna, then you will be liberated. And when you are rich, then there is no question of any debt or any problem, anything. So that Krishna Prem you have to get. The Chaitanya Charitamrita is the gist of Bhagavatam. Their main shlokas of Bhagavatam are given to explain Sambandha Abhideya Prayojana. That verse is there, Bhayam Dvitiya Binaveshata Syat, from 11th canto, a version. Then for Abhideya, that is given about Nam chanting. The gist of whole Bhagavatam you will find in Chaitanya Charitamrita. And in Shikastaka verses, you will find the gist of whole Chaitanya Charitamrita. In Shikastaka also, everything is there. Sambandha, Abhideya, Prayojana, everything, up to Radha Bhav. So, but the point is we have to practice. If we get association of established devotee, one who is always serving Krishna, he is tasting the nectar of service of Krishna, that gives us inspiration for us to also worship Krishna. That is why Sadhu Sangha is very important, even more than Shastra Sangha. Only when Sadhu Sangha is not available, that time we have to take Shastra Sangha. But Sadhu Sangha are realized souls that will give you more push, more enthusiasm, more inspiration to worship Krishna. Time is... Okay, then only this one verse I will tell. Shuklat prakasha bhuishtal lokan apnoti karhichit dukha darkan kriyaya sams tama shokot katan kvachit. Those who are situated in the mode of goodness act piously according to Vedic injunctions. Thus they are elevated to the higher planetary systems where the demigods live. those who are influenced by the mode of passion engage in various types of productive activities in the planetary systems where human beings live. Similarly, those influenced by the mode of darkness are subjected to various types of misery and live in the animal kingdom. In astrology also you have gone, which group you are, gone, Devata gone or Manusha gone or Rakshas. So then they are making matching. Deva and Rakshas, they are not good together because there is so much difference. And Manush and Rakshas also is not good because Rakshas, they are eating human beings. So there also it is there. So we have to, but even this is all still in Maya, Triguna. Either you have iron shekels, or you have silver shekels, or you have golden shekels. Still you are in prison house, you have shekels. The main point is we have to come out by devotion. So whoever he is, Rakshas, Deva, Manush, anyone, any guna, it doesn't matter. Krishna says any birth you take, any nature you have, it doesn't matter. You surrender to Supreme Lord, then you will be rescued. We have example Haridas Thakur. He is low born, but he became pure devotee. Prahlad Maharaj, such that Lakshahira, she was prostitute, but by the grace of Haridas Thakur and chanting Harinam, she became pure devotee. She became saint, and other people, they came to her to beg her for blessing. Haridas Thakur, when she was there, Haridas Thakur did not tell her, now you go home and do Stri Dharma. No, he told her, you chant Harinam, you surrender to Krishna, chant his name, serve Tulsi, and do bhajan, means here you do bhajan. And she did, and then other also they got her grace. So it is not that it is for all ladies in whole world. For all, they have to do Stri Dharma. They have to marry one husband and serve husband. That is not for all. Especially now in Kali Yuga, it is for all is they have to chant Harinam. And then what is favorable for chanting Harinam, that kind of maintenance they should accept. But it is not same for all. So here she was doing bhajan and automatically she got maintenance. There was no she is independent like this. And even if you see, even ascetics, male ascetics, those who renounce it, they're also not independent for their livelihood, for their maintenance. They're dependent on other people. They're going begging, so they're also dependent. Of course, Supreme Lord is giving through them, but outwardly that is like dependence. Like they say for lady, she's always dependent. So she cannot do certain services. But that is not true. Yes, it is stated in Shastra, she has to be under father, mother, then under husband, then under son, dependent for livelihood. But sadhus also, they are dependent on their begging. No one is independent. But the point is, the one thing is bhajan, serving Krishna directly and also instructing others about service of Krishna. And another thing is maintenance to facilitate that bhajan. In Bhagavatam, in maybe first canto, second chapter, or I think, that Jivita Tattva Jigyasa. Human being has only two duties. One is to survive in order to do Tattva Jigyasa, to inquire about absolute truth. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur everywhere explained. One thing is you have to serve Krishna by chanting and other forms of devotion. Another thing is you have to maintain yourself. That is according to what is favorable for your bhajan. It is not that we have to follow Varna, Ashram, Dharma in a sense that I am like misidentifying as a Brahmin. No, you are eternal servant of Krishna. But if that is your nature, then in that way you will more easily earn your livelihood. But if it is not favorable, those rules you should not accept. So Varna Ashram should not cover devotion. So here we see Haridas Thakur, that prostitute. She came to him and he rescued her. She repented. He did not tell her, you go now and marry one man and you serve him. No, he told you do bhajan. And she became saint. So tomorrow we will hear further about what happened. Then Puranjana also, he becomes, next life, he becomes woman. And by good fortune, Sukriti, this Paramatma, Bhagavan, he comes to her as a Brahmin. I'm your friend. You forgot me? I'm your friend. So that is our only hope. When, like Srila Bhakti Rakshidhar Dev Gosai Maharaj expressed it, he said, loving search for the lost servant. Supreme Lord is searching for us because we are his lost servants. So that is our only hope. He appears in this world himself or inspires from within as Chaitya Guru, and he sends his own personal associates to bring us back home, back to Godhead. So merciful. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Hare Hare, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, remembered there was one old Vaishnava, god brother of our Gurudev, means disciple of our Parang Gurudev. He's an old Vaishnava and always chanting. I met him in Mayapur. He spoke Bengali. We spoke in Bengali. So when he became sick, and that kind of sickness that only like you would go to doctor and they cannot do much, and these things, so he just refused. He told to Matavasis, no need doctor. That is only spending money uselessly, and there will be no use, nothing. He said no need, I will not go to any doctor, and with full peaceful mind, though body was disturbed, everything, that disease, everything, but he tolerated everything. He tolerated, and he just left his body without any problem, because always he was in that platform, and he's feeling like this is, I am driver and this is car, so car is not directly affecting that. So he was in that platform. I spoke with him. He was a realized soul, very old Vaishnava. So he just said, no need this doctor, only waste of money. And he tolerated and left body. Jai Shri Shri Guru Gaurango Gandharvika Giridhari Jiv ki Jai. Jai Shri Shri Guru Gaurango Shri Radha Madan Mohan Panchatatatmak Shri Gaurahuri ki Jai. Jai Shri Shri Guru Gaurango Shri Radha Nayananath Jiv ki Jai. Jai Shri Gaura Nityananda Prabhu ki Jai. Jai Shri Jagannath Dev ki Jai. Jai Patit Pavan Shila Gurudev ki Jai. Jai Shila Parang Gurudev ki Jai. Jai Shila Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai Shri Rupanuga Guruvare ki Jai. Jai Shri Panchatattva Prabhu ki Jai. Jai Shri Brinda Devi Tulsi Devi ki Jai. Jai Sarva Vigna Vinashana Kari Shri Nrishingadev ki Jai. Jai Shri Hari Vasar Titi Bara ki Jai. Jai Shri Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnav Brinda ki Jai. Jai Samagata Bhakta Brinda ki Jai. Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai. Gaur Pramanande Hari Bol. Thank you all. Dandavat Pranam. Hari Bol.